Alright, so this is day one of our shoot. Last night we went and met a very, very experienced and intelligent gentleman to talk about the subject that we're on. It was fascinating to listen to him. I'm a smarter person from simply being there to film it. And I got to show y'all the room we got in Reno. So this is the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. And it was only $50 a night, which is why I'm showing it off. Big king-size bed, TV, desk, plenty of space. Check out that mirror, yo. There's a bar up front. There's the front door. And this is the crazy part. All marble in here. I went and played some craps last night and won $85 on the table. And it is time to go back to work now. We're in the mountains of northern Nevada. And we come up on this big open expanse surrounded by mountains. And this, right here, is the Black Rock Desert where Burning Man happens. With a few RVs and some crazy hippies out there starting to build art for this year's event. We have been driving for probably 30 miles on, well, maybe 15 miles on a dirt road and another 15 on a 2-lane paved road. I kind of lost everybody, but it is majestic. I don't know how else to describe it. This is exactly where the rental company does not want you taking their cars. Alright, so I never really told y'all about Black Gap in West Texas. I mean, I kind of did, next door to Big Bend National Park. And I thought we were in the middle of nowhere down there, like 2 hours south of the nearest cell phone service. But this is a whole new level of the middle of nowhere. And the sky tonight, wow. Like, I've seen some pretty spectacular sunsets, but you mix in the dirt, the dry climate, and the clouds, and kaboom. Maybe that's what heaven looks like. This area has been fenced off to any type of grazing animal. So we're hoping to see a sage grouse this morning. Also deer. And whatever comes in. I never really knew what a proper meadow was. And essentially it is a low elevation area in some hills where the water table is just under ground level. And so a lot of the brush that needs dryness can't live, and a lot of the grasses and other plants that flourish in a wet environment can take over, and the ground is kind of soft, and there's even some areas where water is running through they're not really creeks, but they're kind of holes with water in them. And it stays this way all the time. The issue is that when they're overgrazed, the soil gets trampled down and all the grass just dies. The water table recedes below the ground, and it turns into nothing, just dirt. Driving across the playa right now, the Black Rock Desert Playa. It's this big, giant open space. It's mind-boggling, actually. It's completely flat. Some of it's cracked. The top layer of dirt's a little bit soft. But overall, it is just a huge expanse of nothing smoothness. And FYI, it's where Burning Man is every year. So 60,000 people fill up this empty space and do the artistic, trippy party thing. Made it about 20 miles past the playa, driving down this dirt road, and there was a horse on the side of the road. Our main character decided to walk out, see if he could touch the horse on the nose. And they kind of had a moment, and it was pretty cool. The light out here in the desert is just incredible. It's full of colors. And when somebody really cares about something, their emotions come out in it, and that's what just happened. I believe that is a mine, and I heard they've mined a lot of gold and silver out here all the way back from the old Wild West days until now. There's a lot of opal on the ground. I don't know exactly what they mined. Maybe some uranium. Oh. We're in eastern Nevada now. It's a lot more green. The mountains aren't quite as gnarly. Today just got really crazy. Now, all these natural disasters, basically fires, big, huge fires, like 40,000 acre fires, have been popping up in the mountains all around where we're filming. I just watched a herd of antelope come into this spring, and a group of horses that were in it kept chasing them out the gate. Okay, this is the 6th day of this trip through northern Nevada, and I'm finally going to explain what's going on. See, it's hard to understand that horses were brought over here in the 1500s. They were used, and then machinery kind of pushed the horse out of our useful life, and at that point they started running wild on the range. There were men that rounded them up to sell them for meat. Ranchers did not want them competing with their cattle for grazing land and water, and so they would kill them off. And at some point, close to the 60s, late 50s, early 60s, there was an act passed to protect the wild horses so that they could be treated humanely. What resulted in that is a need to manage the populations that has kind of been a back and forth battle for the last 50 years. Now the populations are running kind of unchecked, and they're starting to affect the riparian systems, the meadows and streams and springs that the native wildlife need to live on. There's room for horses out here. There's room for cattle. We have to be able to raise our livestock somewhere, and the horses are absolutely beautiful. It is amazing watching them running across a field at sunrise, or coming in and by the hundreds to the spring. But it is so unhealthy for the land that something has to be done about it. So the appropriate management level for the United States wild horse population is 27,000, and currently it is about 82,000. The budget to round them up and keep them on ranches is no longer there. And the reason we're out here telling this story right now is to open a conversation between conservationists, horse enthusiasts, activists, and cattle ranchers to find some type of middle ground so that everyone can exist in harmony as we move on towards a more sustainable future. It's mind-boggling how wildlife can be managed and cattle can be managed, but all these professionals that we've met along the way are scared to talk about horses. Oh dude, you made it to the very end! Thank you so much for watching. I got a little nostalgic walking away from the three guys I've been hanging out with from sun up to sundown, moving, telling stories. And I personally only knew Nevada to be Las Vegas. I had no idea what was in the rest of the state. And I hope after watching this that you've seen at least a little bit of the beautiful, desolate landscapes that cover this dry, super dry state. And the wild horse thing that we've been, that I was working on, at the end, we were talking about it. Somebody said, it's just that people don't care. But that's not the case. There is a group of people that very passionately care about this landscape. And there is a group of people that very passionately care about wild horses. And they have blocked the professionals from managing this ecosystem in a sustainable way. So getting this horse population in check is important. But the horse lovers have got to get out of the way and let their emotions go and realize that there are no natural predators for this giant animal that has not lived here for very long. And if they continue to go unchecked, they're going to absolutely destroy a very delicate ecosystem that supports their life, and then nothing's going to live out here. Like, at that point, this desert is truly going to live up to its reputation. There will not be little springs and creeks and forests hidden in these mountains. It will really be a desolate nothing. With that said, this is the end. I'm driving down the road, but we are not going home this time because the road goes on forever and the party never ends. We're going to California, y'all! Alright.
I couldn't fight it. I hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over.
We just entered Napa County, California.